Before I tell you what happened, let me ask you something. Have you ever been at work, just doing your job, when suddenly you realize you've heard something you were never supposed to hear? Something that makes your stomach drop and changes everything after that moment. If you have, I want you to share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe because stories like this, they stay with you. My name's Emily, and this happened to me about 6 years ago when I was working as a waitress in a small but busy restaurant just outside Chicago. It wasn't anything fancy, the kind of place where regulars came in every day, where you memorized orders without writing them down, and where tips depended more on your smile than the menu. I worked the evening shift. It was steady, predictable, safe. Until one night in late October. It started like any other shift. The dinner rush came in waves, families, couples, a few businessmen. Around 8:30 p.m., 2 men walked in. They didn't look unusual at first glance, mid-40s, well-dressed, quiet. But something about them, I can't explain it, felt off. They asked for a booth in the back corner, the one with the broken overhead light that gave everything a dim, shadowy feel. Most people avoided that spot. They didn't. I took their order. One barely looked at me. The other smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. It felt rehearsed. They ordered steak, both of them, medium rare, expensive whiskey to go with it. And then I walked away. About 15 minutes later, I came back to check on them. That's when I heard it. I wasn't trying to listen. I really wasn't. But as I stepped closer, one of them leaned forward and said in a low voice, "It has to happen tomorrow. No delays." I froze. I don't know why. Maybe it was the tone? Calm, certain, like they were discussing something already decided. The other man replied, "What about the girl?" My heart skipped. "The girl doesn't matter," the first one said. "She saw nothing." I stood there for a second too long. Then my foot shifted and the floor creaked. Both of them looked up, right at me. I forced a smile. "Everything okay here?" They didn't answer right away, just stared. Then the one who had smiled earlier did it again. "That'll be all," he said. I nodded, turned, and walked away, but I could feel it. That feeling, like something had just locked onto me. I tried to brush it off, told myself I was overthinking. People talk about all kinds of things. It could have been nothing. But for the rest of the night, I couldn't shake it. And when they finally left, they didn't just walk out. They looked back at me. Both of them at the same time. That was the moment I knew something wasn't right, and I was already in it. I didn't sleep much that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw their faces. That same look, calm, unreadable, like they already knew something I didn't. The next day, I told myself I needed to be rational. People overhear strange conversations all the time. It didn't mean anything. But then, the calls started. The first one came around noon. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but I thought it might be the restaurant calling me in early, so I picked up. "Hello?" Silence. Just breathing. Slow, steady. "Hello?" I said again. Then the line went dead. I stared at my phone, uneasy. Wrong number, I thought. It happens. But then it rang again. Different number. I answered. Same thing. Silence. Breathing. Then, a voice. Low. Barely above a whisper. "You shouldn't have listened." My chest tightened. "What?" I said, my voice shaking. Click. The call ended. I sat there, frozen. It couldn't be real. It couldn't be connected. But deep down, I knew it was. I tried to convince myself it was a prank. Maybe someone from work messing with me? But no one at the restaurant even knew what I had heard. That evening, I went to my shift anyway. I needed normalcy, something familiar. The restaurant looked the same, smelled the same, but it didn't feel the same. I kept glancing at the door, half expecting them to walk in again. They didn't, but something else happened. Around 9 p.m., I stepped outside to take a quick break. The parking lot was mostly empty. And that's when I saw it. A black car, parked across the street, engine running, headlights off. I wouldn't have thought much of it, except as soon as I stepped out, the driver turned his head and looked straight at me. I couldn't see his face clearly, but I knew. I just knew. I went back inside immediately, my heart racing. I didn't tell anyone, not yet. But from that moment on, I stopped feeling safe, because whoever they were, they hadn't forgotten me, and they weren't done. The calls didn't stop. If anything, they got worse. Different numbers every time. Sometimes during the day, sometimes late at night. Always the same pattern. Silence, breathing, and occasionally a voice. Short sentences. You heard too much. Stay quiet. Don't make this worse. I stopped answering after a while, but that didn't help. They left voicemails, empty ones, except for that faint, steady breathing. I started checking my locks 3-4 times before going to bed. I kept my lights on. I barely slept. At work, I'd tried to act normal, but my coworkers noticed. You okay? My manager asked one night. Yeah, I lied. I thought about telling someone, calling the police, but what would I say? That I overheard a vague conversation and now I was getting creepy calls? It didn't sound like enough, and part of me was afraid that if I said something, it would make things worse. Then came the night everything escalated. I was walking home from my shift. It was only a few blocks, something I'd done hundreds of times before. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Halfway home, I heard it. Footsteps. Behind me. Slow. Matching my pace. I told myself not to turn around, but I couldn't help it. I glanced back. No one. Just an empty sidewalk. I kept walking. Faster now. The footsteps came again. Closer. I stopped. They stopped. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Then, a voice. Right behind me. You should have stayed out of it. I spun around. No one. Nothing. I ran. The rest of the way home, locked the door, checked every window. I was shaking. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just intimidation. They were watching me, following me, getting closer, and I had no idea why or what they were planning. The next morning, I made a decision. I couldn't keep pretending this was nothing. I needed answers. I went back to the restaurant early, before my shift started. The place was quiet, just the morning staff preparing for lunch. I went straight to the back corner booth. The same one. I don't know what I expected to find, but as I slid into the seat, I saw it. Under the table. A small, dark object taped to the underside. My stomach dropped. I reached down slowly and pulled it off. It was a recording device. My hands started shaking. That's when it clicked. They weren't just talking that night. They were recording, and I had interrupted something I wasn't supposed to hear. Suddenly, everything made sense. The calls, the threats, the car. They didn't think I just overheard them. They thought I might have heard something important, something dangerous. I didn't tell anyone at work. Instead, I took the device and left. I went straight to the police. This time, I had proof. At least, I thought I did. The officer listened carefully as I explained everything. The calls, the men, the device. He took it from me, examined it, then frowned. "This isn't what you think," he said. "What do you mean?" He sighed. "This is a standard audio bug. Cheap, easy to get." My heart sank. "So you can trace it, right?" He shook his head. No serial, no markings, nothing. It felt like the ground disappeared beneath me. "So what do I do?" He looked at me for a long moment. "Be careful," he said. That was it. No reassurance, no solution. Just be careful. As I walked out of the station, I felt it again. That feeling, like someone was watching me. And this time, I didn't need to look to know it was real. That night, I didn't go home. I drove. No destination, just away. I kept checking my mirrors. Every car felt suspicious. Every shadow made my pulse spike. After an hour, I pulled into a gas station on the edge of town. That's when my phone rang again. Unknown number. For a moment, I considered ignoring it, but something told me this one was different. I answered. Silence. Then, "You found it." My grip tightened on the phone. "What do you want from me?" I demanded. A pause. Then the voice said, "You weren't supposed to be involved." "I'm not involved," I said. "I didn't do anything." Another pause. Then prove it. "How?" The line went quiet. For a long time. Then the voice spoke again. "Go back to work tomorrow." My stomach dropped. "And act normal." The call ended. I stood there, shaking. I didn't want to go back. But I also knew running wasn't helping. So the next evening, I did exactly what they said. I went to work, acted normal, took orders, smiled, pretended everything was fine. And for a while, it was. No calls, no car, no footsteps. Days passed, then weeks, and slowly it stopped. Just like that. No explanation, no closure. They disappeared. I quit the job not long after, moved to another city, changed my number, tried to forget. But sometimes, late at night, I still think about it. About that conversation. About what I might have heard if I had stayed just a few seconds longer. And the part that scares me the most? They said, "The girl doesn't matter." But they still came after me. So I can't help but wonder, what really happened the next day? And whether I was lucky or just spared. If you've ever had a moment at work that didn't feel right, trust that feeling, because sometimes the things you overhear are only the beginning.